Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Manteno Village Board meeting for August the 4th, 2025. Would you please stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm sorry. I'd like to introduce our pastor. And tonight we have Pastor Roy Worley from the Baptist Church.
Madam Mayor, board members, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the honor. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for this time where members of this board come together to conduct the business of the city in the interest of its citizens. Father, you've taught us how to pray. You told us that we should ask that your name always be hallowed. Furthermore, you've told us that we should pray that your kingdom would come, that you would reign in the hearts of men and women on this earth, and that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So this is what we pray. We pray that as these members come together to make determinations, to debate, to talk, to discuss, that your will would be done. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Barry?
Yes.
Boudreaux?
Here.
Vaughn? Here. Crockett?
Here.
Getzky?
Here.
And Zimmelman?
Here.
And Ms. Mayor?
Here. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, the reading of the minutes, any changes, corrections, or approval? A motion to approve. Motion by Barry, seconded by Boudreaux.
Okay. Barry?
Yes.
Boudreaux?
Yes.
Vaughn? Yes. Crockett?
Yes.
Getzky?
Yes.
Zimmelman?
Yes.
Public participation, the first speaker is Francine Fatima.
Good evening. First of all, there's a lovely newspaper called the Epic Times, and they have some very intriguing articles about our enemies, China, and China has a new law that legalizes the stealing of foreign intellectual property. Well, the foreign is us. So it's a good article anyway. This morning at 9 o'clock, there was a Zoom hearing in court down in Kankakee. 11 members of the Concerned Citizens of Manteno attended this hearing, as well as lawyer Dave Burgo. I just want you all to know that that lawsuit that we have against Goshen is alive and well. And I just have a special statement to make to Mr. Crockett, Getzky, Boudreaux, and Ms. Zimmelman, that the Chinese do not play fair. Why do I even mention Chinese? Well, of course, because that's what Goshen is, a communist Chinese company, and they don't play fair. In China, they've enacted the law which will allow them to steal intellectual property from their enemies. We are that enemy. So I just ask you to beware, be alert, and please do your best to represent your community. Thank you.
The next speaker is Sandy Chiz.
Hello, everyone. At the last board meeting,
there was much discussion about compliance with the village codes. The code discussion was really thorough. It was well thought out. It was provided, information was provided at the hearing, and the reasons were given as to the logic behind the denial. It was great transparency. It was really good to see. However, I still think that the food truck owner has done what he was supposed to do, and if he goes to court, he'll be successful, but that's just my opinion. However, I felt irony at the code issue, and it was because I remember past board meetings before the present administration was here, where board decisions were made in direct violation of existing codes, and no discussion was had. No information was given. It was just decided, even though it violated the existing codes. So I guess it must be the new administration. There's more transparency, more rule following. I wish there had been strict compliance with code compliance in the past. Thank you.
The next speaker is Terry King.
I'm going to speak from here. I don't know what's the matter with me right now. I've got a couple of statements and then a question. I applied to be a park ranger. And a month or so ago, I was talking to one of the older park rangers who said that they really needed another part-time. They were shorthanded. I was never called. Now, can't be my background because I've been vetted by Chicago Brass and the Secret Service because I was in the front row with Trump a month after he was shot. So I know my background's good, but I let that go. Then I get a letter that I can't be a vendor at Oktoberfest, okay? So, but I can be a vendor at her other events in other towns. Pissed me off. I said, well, you know what? They accepted me at the Apple Pork Fest, and there's 50,000 people that go to that, so I will go there anyway. He just tells me they're still looking for vendors. So is it me? Is it how I speak up? I don't feel love here. Now my next question is, I want to rent the Hassett Center in October in the evening. Can I do that, or am I going to have a problem with that? That's my question. Can I rent it in the evening?
Maybe we can answer that later. Do you want to answer it now? Okay.
No? So I have to go into your office? I have to take the time to go in there?
You can call Village Hall in the morning and they can explain it to you, yes. It depends on the date, it depends on the
Well,
law.
no, the date is up in the air. I don't care what date it is. It just in October before I go on a month-long cruise.
So we don't know until you give us a date whether it's available or not.
Okay, well, I'll ask them what dates they have available, so I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'm not feeling the love here. I feel like somebody's, hey, he just sat here and said they're still looking for vendors. I live in this town. I've been a vendor there before.
This is something we'll have to look into because I don't know what the requirements are to be a vendor. Are there
Well, I've been
requirements?
a vendor for Oktoberfest before.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll get back to you on that.
okay, thanks.
The next speaker is George Reichert.
Good evening. So when these two boards came together, the Choice Party and the Freedom Party, I was really hoping that maybe things would be for the better, with everybody trying to work together and making it a better community to live in. But one of the topics was the time frame of the meetings. All the meetings before used to be 7 a.m., and then we were trying to come up with some answers like, well, maybe we should have them later in the day instead of all of them being at 7 a.m. You know, most people work during the day and getting ready for work at 7 in the morning to go to work, or putting their kids in daycare, taking them to school, or whatever. And I just noticed that 4 choice parties still have their meetings at 7 a.m. And you know, at least try. You know, maybe you could have 1 meeting or 2 meetings and prove to me that you're not going to have this any better attendance than you would at 7 a.m., and then I will understand. But until you do that, you're not working together as a board. Thank you.
The next speaker is David Bergdahl.
Good evening. 20-some years ago, we had a planning commission meeting one night. And the planning director at that time was known to have just discussion nights if there was nothing on an agenda. We had a night where there was nothing pressing going on, nobody with new businesses or developments or anything. And we opened the meeting with this question. John Featherling was the chair. I asked, John, your daughter's studying to be a teacher, right? And she's going to graduate in a year or two, right? Of course. If she gets a job in the Manteno School District as a teacher and comes back to town, if she's not moving back into your house, where is she moving to? And we had a very interesting discussion for almost an hour and a half that night on the question of housing, housing prices, affordable housing, minimum square footages, all sorts of interesting topics spun off the question of where do starter people in the community go? About a month ago, I blundered across a study commissioned by the Economic Alliance, and it was done by Tracy Cross and Associates, who's a firm that does market research for realtors, basically. I've seen some of their studies in the past. The counties use them on various different projects. And the study in question was published in April and basically said that the county needs 450 new housing units per year for at least the next 5 years because of the limited amount of new housing that's been built since 2008. Okay. It broke it down a little further. There are a bunch of demographics in the long version of the study. And during the election, on a couple of different occasions, I heard people asking that question about affordable housing. Sometimes you need to be in front of the curve. This question is out there. There's a study saying we need this much new housing in the county
You can wrap it up. Go ahead.
every year for the next 5 years at least. Instead of having a developer come in and say, well, I've looked at this study and I think I'm going to propose this subdivision, and you have 1,000 residents showing up with pitchforks and going, why, oh my God, what's Goshen doing now? Because God knows not everything in this community is being driven by Goshen. At some point, they're going to rebuild Division Street. At that point, I think you're going to see development really jump. But you need to get on top of this question with the housing demand. Because let's be realistic. At this point, housing's not going in the southeast part of the county. All the businesses closing in moments. Nothing's going to be happening over there. There's nothing going on the west end of the county. So if we're getting 450 new housing units a year in the county, they're coming probably all Manteno, Bradley, Bourbonnais. You look at your statistics, look at your high school enrollment. It's down 150 from its peak 15 years ago. You look around the conference, most of the conference is down. Braidwood's down 300 plus kids, Reed Custer, in 15 years. But if we're looking at a situation where there's a demand for new housing and we're probably going to get it, you're probably better off in front of the curve putting that information out for your residents instead of having the circumstance you had a few months back when Mr. Kerwick brought in his proposal for South Creek Drive and Marquette Drive, and people went boinkers. People don't understand the demand side. When the developers come in to propose the need to meet that demand, you will cut off a lot of the issues in the community if people get that information out front rather than trying to feed it afterwards. So I'm thinking that you might have a planning commission meeting at some point here. Maybe bring Tracy Cross and friends in, make a presentation about this study, even if there's nothing else on the agenda. Because I think this housing question is something that's been pent up in this community, and you don't want to see that explode like Goshen did 2 years ago.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Greg St. Aubin.
Madam Mayor and Board of Directors, I appreciate being able to talk to you right now. My name is Greg St. Aubin. I am with my 4 children, 4 generations of Manteno residents within the village or township. We are a 5-generation farmer family outside in Manteno Township. Our farm is currently located right across the road to the east from the now defunct Manteno Golf Course. I am rising today in order to oppose the proposed forensic audit that this board wants to vote upon. After a 10-year tenure, as my dad being the road commissioner for Manteno Township, I decided to take a foray into government. I was elected in 2001, and I'm still serving on the township board in a different capacity. I've had four terms as trustee, 2 terms as clerk, and now I'm on my 7th term as clerk. In and around 2007, 2008, the Manteno Township Board, who also at most times consists of at least 2, if not 3 farmers. And in a recent Gallup study, it was said that farming and farm careers and farm families are considered the most honest people that in an honest profession by 93%. So by saying that, the members of our township board are impeccable as far as their honesty. In and around the 2000-2008 time period, we were talking about building a park out and around the Diversitech area for all the people of Manteno and Manteno Township. Shortly after that, I got a phone call from the then village manager, Craig Blanchett, asked me if I would be interested in talking about a park project with the village. I met with Craig and Mayor Nugent, and we talked about the project that is now known as Legacy Park. Manteno School District had to sell that property because it no longer fit into their footprint of building a new high school. So the village and the township went 50-50 into buying that property so that the Manteno School District could build and buy property outside of town. We entered into an intergovernmental agreement, and we also had a master plan made for the park through Hitchcock Engineering. The grants that we applied for, because we were in an intergovernmental agreement and we had a master plan, we were able to get $400,000 in grants that brought us and saved taxpayers that much money. With that in mind, it was our first foray into dealing with the village. We had enormous amounts of contact with the village, all the village administrators, the village employees. We worked with them, and still we're finishing the last phase of our park project right now. As most of you have seen, the pond is being enlarged so that we can have a fishing pond, and that is the last of our master plan. What I am asking is that when we worked with the village of Manteno, we found no discrepancies, no bid unauthorizations, no fraud, no bills that were left unaided. We found absolutely no discrepancies in our dealing with the village of Manteno at that time, and we have not, up until this day, had any problems working with the village of Manteno. And we believe that whatever they've done for this project, and this project is the only thing I can speak about, that we have and the township have stood above board on every transaction that we have made. Keeping that in mind then, I stand opposed to this forensic audit because First of all, in the village of Manteno, there's nobody that's a career politician. We are all working for a living, everybody in this room, everybody on our township board, everybody that is volunteering for any of the boards. They have businesses, they have work relationships, they have relationships within the village. It is beyond my scope of understanding to see that we have been working together with the village with absolutely no improprieties, no budgeting issues, no fraud, nothing. We have been audited by our auditors. I understand that the village is audited by SKDO, which is a very reputable accounting firm in Bourbonnais, and found absolutely no significant problems with any of their books. I believe that if there was any sort of widespread corruption and malfeasance within this community, that many of the board of trustees for the village over a long period of time would have been very much involved in that.
Great.
I know.
We appreciate your comments, but we need to wrap it up because this will be discussed later at the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, that's the last commenter for tonight. So now we're going to go into reports of village officials. I have a lot of notes on my desk, and I'm going to try and touch on a lot of them. I may not hit every single one. We have a new business in town, and there was a grand opening with a ribbon cutting, and it's called True Golf. It's a virtual golf business. Am I explaining that correctly, guys? So it's out on South Spruce Street. It's right next to the Orkin Company that's in a strip mall where Steam Hollow used to be. And it's very nice. They had 4 different, what do you call them? Bays, yes. It's very nicely, situated. I don't know what the prices are, but they're open now, and they would like people to come out. So if you're interested in that, the owner is Bob Early, and he's open Monday through Thursday from 11 till 9. He's open on Fridays and Saturdays, 10 to 10, and Sundays, 10 to 6. So I think it's good that we know about new businesses, because we need to support our businesses in town. Tomorrow night is a big event. It's called the 18th National Night Out. Many of you are familiar with this and may have attended it in the past. This year, I was invited to attend along with all the other mayors in Kankakee County. I think they plan to introduce us. But there's a lot going on at the park. They have food, beverages, giveaways. There's going to be school supply bags free for the students who are there, all furnished by Walmart. There's going to be music, somebody named Lois and Dave, Cosmic Rewind, the Silhouettes. They have bounce houses, canine demonstration, kiddie carnival rides, vendors, and a fire truck will be spraying water, so if the kids want to run through that, they can. Fireworks in the evening, courtesy of Meyer Food Store.
That's at Perry Farm, correct?
Yes, it's at Perry Farm. Starts at 4 o'clock and it ends at dusk. So if you're looking for something fun to do tomorrow night, you might want to attend that. The River Regatta is coming up in Kankakee, and the date is August the 29th. That I'm invited along with all the other mayors to, I don't know what they call it, a welcome party or something. It's in the evening, so I'm going to try and go to that. Movies in the park. I'm going to just throw this in there, and you may want to add to it, Jacob. But that's Thursday night this week, and the movie is Garfield.
Yep, we're going to be showing the Garfield movie with Chris Pratt there. Concessions provided by the Manteno Wildcats will start at 7, and the movie will begin at dusk.
Okay, thank you. We also have a local entrepreneur, Sean Parpart. He and his wife Tiffany own the beauty company, and they own the well over here in the alley on the square. And they have a proposal for us that we've discussed at one committee meeting, and I think it's going to be on the agenda for Joel's meeting that's coming up. What's the date, the 13th, Joel?
13th.
So they would like to furnish a vending machine, or possibly 2. Oops. But if this gets the approval of the board, they would like to put their vending machine at Thies Park, because we have a lot of activities there. And I know some people do bring their own coolers, but what about somebody that just stops to play a game and doesn't have a cold drink? They would really appreciate having that vending machine. I have a proposal summary here. I'm going to hand this to the lawyer so he can take a look at it. They're offering us a percentage of what they make. We don't have to do anything. They're going to buy the machine, they're going to service it, make sure it's stocked, it sounds like a win-win to me, but it'll be up to the board members to approve that. At the last meeting, I talked about an emergency action plan. I don't think I called it that, but this was put in my mailbox at the Village Hall, and it's a 42-page packet of what we have already in line in Manteno. So my plan is to present this to the board at future meetings that we have, our committee meetings, so that maybe we should have a special meeting for this. But we need to go through this and make sure we're prepared for anything. But that's in conjunction with our police department and our fire department. And Al, do you want to say anything about this?
No, just what you said, we do work together, we train for all kinds of emergencies all year long, so I think both police and fire department pretty well prepared.
I've been reading it, and there's a lot of information in here. It includes a lot of mutual aid from other towns, buses, people at different stations taking care of anyone who might be injured. What if we had a train wreck, you know? A lot of things could happen. So we are on this. I want you to know that we are on top of this. I think that's all I have. I have no presentations. We do have some upcoming events, and I did mention movies in the park. So I am going to turn this over now to Trustee Barry.
Thank you, Mayor. Old business on the agenda, none. New business on the agenda, consideration of motion to approve of the forensic audit quote of $168,000 from Green Forensic Accounting Solutions LLP, the lowest qualified bidder. Just to go over this is, I've had discussions with a lot of you guys about it. We've talked on the phone. I mean, I just think that for a long time, everything was just kind of status quo. We didn't really question a lot of things, and I think with the forensic audit, at the end of the day, I hope that, and I pray that it comes back clean. I've had a lot of residents come up to us in the last, during campaigns and during just daily activities about the financials of the village. A lot of questions, and rightfully so. They should have questions. Do I think anything was done wrong? I hope not. But I don't think that by the forensic audit looking into everything and looking at the way that everything's worked, is then at that point, the forensic audit comes back clean. You can look at all the residents, we can put it on the website, we can put it on everything. Here you go, guys. Nothing's done wrong. To ease your fears or concerns. And that's being transparent with everyone here. That's being transparent with all 9,000 residents. Nothing was done wrong. Let's move on to the next thing. So that's why I brought this up. It would go back, it would start April of 2020 to current time frame. So that's why I made the motion. Payment of bills in amount of $75,396.43, including TIF bills number 30. Bills authorized and paid between board cycle, $42,269.89. Next Finance Committee meeting will be August 18th, 5 o'clock here at the Village Boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Barry. Trustee Boudreau.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have nothing on the agenda. The next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting will be Wednesday, August 13th at 7 a.m. And then we do have one item right now on the Planning Commission meeting. So we'll have that next Tuesday, 6 p.m. here in the Village Boardroom. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Vaughn.
Old business on agenda, none. New business on agenda, the ordinance 25-12, an ordinance amending Title III, Business Regulations, Chapter 9, Liquor, Section 3-9-13, changing the hours that the village can serve alcohol on Sundays from 11 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And my next committee report, Chief, would you like to give that report today?
Sure. It has been put together a few things, the police department and the activities we've had over the last recent period. Threw a few things together. In July, we took 95 case reports, 948 incidents, 22 arrests. Probably our most significant case was an armed robbery case we handled just the other day. It was on July 31st. The police responded to a reported robbery involving a Casey's employee. It did not occur at Casey's. The incident occurred at First and Walnut about 30 minutes prior to the home. The victim was riding his bicycle to work, was approached by an unknown male suspect who was away a knife and demanded property. The suspect left the scene on foot, and the victim was not harmed. Officers responded promptly, gathered detailed information from the victim, and was quickly able to identify the suspect and later arrested him.
Thank you, Chief. The next Public Safety and Health Committee meeting is August 18th at 5 p.m. in the Village Boardroom. That's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Crockett?
Thank you. I don't have any items on the agenda this evening. The next Public Works Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August the 26th, 7 a.m. here in the Village Boardroom. And I'd just like to, while I have a few minutes here, just kind of comment on a couple of things that have been brought up already. Mike, you and I had a discussion earlier today regarding the forensic audit. And I can understand the point of view from both sides as we had discussed. You mentioned that, people are concerned about what was going on or what could have been going on prior to this administration taking over. I guess my question would be then, where were those people when the audits were being done by SKDO and the lady would get up here and she would go through that audit and not one person was here in the Village Boardroom? I don't know how much concern there was then. That audit was done every year for the past 15 years that I've been on this board. And I have never, in my experience, seen 1 ounce of impropriety by anybody either working for the village, on the village board, an employee of the village. And I'm sure if there was some shenanigans going on, somebody would have caught wind of it. So to spend $168,000, I just can't conceive spending that kind of money when there's other things, such as public safety. We've discussed having mobile radar detectors. We've discussed speed bumps. How many people have we had in here complaining about people speeding and the safety issues around that? At one of our committee meetings, I brought up the fact, why don't we look into, and I know the police chief is looking into, the mobile speed radar detectors, not the ones on the signs, but the ones that get pulled on a trailer. I'd much rather spend $168,000 on things that are going to matter. So when it comes time to voting, I will voice my concern, my opinion with that, but I wanted it to be made aware of why I would be voting the way I'm voting. Peggy, you brought up this liquor ordinance again. Now, we have discussed that at least 3 or 4 times, this board and previous boards. I asked the question, what is the desire to increase that another 2 hours? But when we have said that, we would grant special use permits if there was an event where they wanted to have an event earlier than 11 o'clock. So I guess my question is, 3-4 times, why are we still going through this?
Have you talked to Burcott's? Have you talked to anybody over there?
Well,
Have you talked to the citizens in this community?
I have, yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. I gave you signatures of the people that want to see this changed.
The signatures where there's multiple names on pages?
Yes, there's people that shop in this community.
The same names on various pages? Over and over again? That list?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're...
I didn't see
So you're
all-
giving us lists of people that are repeated. So if it looks like 300 people, how many people actually signed it?
Well, I don't know. Go through it and look then.
You don't know. But
Yeah,
you're coming here
close to
asking for us to
400. There was
extend
close to
it.
400 people that signed that.
I think we're creating a situation that's going to be real difficult on future boards to vote on. Because what about the person that comes in and wants it at 8 o'clock? And then 7 o'clock? And what about the guy that works at 11 o'clock, gets off and wants to go have a drink at 6 o'clock? Where do we draw the line?
At 9 o'clock.
Would Pastor Worley like to have us drinking at 9 o'clock? I don't think so, and most churches have voiced the concern that they don't.
Todd.
And
So
so
the
you know...
workers that work at nighttime, they want to get off their job and they want to go to the grocery store and buy groceries, get their alcohol. The manager over there told me, he said, you don't know how many people that have carts full of groceries. When they get to the register, they cannot buy their alcohol. They leave the carts of groceries right there.
Because there's an ordinance that says they can't purchase
Well,
until
we're-
11 o'clock. And
well,
I'm in-
we're wanting to
and I'm in
change that is
favor of
what we're
keeping it
wanting
at
to do.
11 o'clock. Because how do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time, right? So now it'll go to 9 o'clock, then it'll be 8 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And board, where do we draw the line?
We
Mayor,
brought
where
this,
do- where do we
Todd,
draw
we
the
brought
line?
this up one time. This is the second
No,
time.
no.
All right, 3 times.
It's been at least 3 or 4 times over the course
All right.
of 2 administrations. And we keep going through the same thing, and it
What's
got,
your
and
reasoning,
it got
what's your
voted down.
reasoning for not wanting this?
We're not solving any problems. I don't see the need to change it from 11
You don't
o'clock to
think
9
that we're
o'clock. If
getting,
you plan ahead,
wait a
you
minute,
could
for
go to
2 hours, you
Burkott's
don't think we're
the night
getting
before
more
and buy your
revenue
liquor.
and more money to our businesses plus to the village?
And how much is that going to put, what kind of stress is that going to put on our public safety? Do you think by people
Oh,
drinking
come on.
earlier in the day, it might cause some additional
Really?
problems?
Really?
I think, yeah, really.
I don't think there's going to be any more stress
Okay,
on
guys,
the police
settle down. I think
department.
we're going to settle down.
Okay, well, we can agree to
one of the things
disagree,
that
but I
was
want
brought
to
up-
address this for the 3rd time.
One of the things that was brought up is that a lot of the other communities in our county have lowered their times.
And nobody has it at 9 o'clock.
What are their times? Do you know what they are, Peggy?
Myers, 8.
8 o'clock? And they're in Bradley?
Actually, because the Legion, they come in there on Sundays, carts. They buy all their stuff.
I don't think we're doing anything that hasn't been done in other towns in the county.
No, you got Bradley, Bourbonis, Kankakee. They're making money off of this. They can do their gaming as well. So they're getting some revenue off this. You know, there may be some time that we're going to need this money.
The Legion is currently buying alcohol before 11
They're
a.m.
buying a bunch of different stuff.
Well, that would be breaking the law if that's what they're doing. I don't think that they probably are doing that.
No,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would,
as far as
I
coming
don't
here
think that
buying-
would be a good thing.
Okay? Can we move on? All right. Are you finished?
Yes.
All right, thank you. One thing I did want to say about the audits before we move too far along, there is a huge difference between a regular audit and a forensic audit. And I did meet with Carmen Huizinga, who was in the Village Hall doing our audit this year, and she told me that all they do is make sure the numbers add up. They don't question why things were purchased, or they don't question what was purchased. All they do is do the math and make sure that everything balances. And she noticed a couple things, like when money's moved from one account to another, that's a concern, and she did bring that to my attention. But she said, you know, that's up to you, what you do with that. So
Mayor,
an audit's an audit.
if you
a
don't
foren-
mind, I just read through the audit. I've read it through it twice now. There's
She
no-
said everything looked good.
Correct, everything looked good. That's
She
why,
did.
that's why I'm also questioning to a point of, we've had audit after audit after audit. Yes, money's moved, that's the normal thing. We had capital projects, so we moved money around to do that. The school district just did that too, so like, that's not necessarily
But
always the case.
she wanted me to know that this is different from a forensic audit. They
Well,
don't
correct, a
question-
forensic
they don't
audit is
question
used when there's a
what we
court of law,
purchased.
like, that's embezzlement, fraud. My friend's an accountant, I asked him, he's like, you don't need a forensic audit. If you're passing normal audit, that would be caught. There would be hints, there'd be signs. That's not, this is saying that there is someone in our village, or there's an account in our village that's being abused. I haven't seen that in
We're
my
not
time.
saying that, but we've spent a lot of money in the last 20 years. We've gone through over $20 million.
Absolutely, to improve the village, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
we know where the money went.
All we're asking for is a clean slate.
Okay.
That's all. All right, go ahead, Joel.
Thank you. I guess I'll start with, I do not have anything on the agenda as far as action items go. I will say that today, our pickleball classes started at 9 a.m. for the adults and 11 for the youth. There are still openings available. My understanding is it went very well today, and they're inviting additional people to join if they would like to on Thursday. So if there's anyone out there watching that would like to, show up Thursday at 9 o'clock if you're a senior, and when we say senior, I guess I'll put myself in that group, anyone over age 50 or 45 who wants to play, and then the youth at 11 o'clock. This is for Manteno residents only at this time, so please support it. come out and enjoy it. I think the comments that I've gotten back already so far, the feedback has been very positive, and everyone's pretty happy with it. So our next Parks Committee meeting will be scheduled on August 13th at 7 a.m. right here. At that time, we'll have a few things on the agenda. As of now, things that I have listed is a dog park conversation we will be having, Square on Second, build out as far as bathrooms and pavilion, hopefully have some numbers together for that, Jim. The vending machines are the things that we have at this time. Also, maybe a discussion regarding the free fun over at East Park, the lockers that are set there. I guess I'll comment, not to stir the pot, but as far as the liquor ordinance goes, I did a little bit of research on this because it's come up 3 or 4 times, and we've had churches go against it. So I just looked at some of the neighboring communities. Frankfurt has theirs start at 11 o'clock, Plainfield 11 o'clock, Manhattan's 12 o'clock, and New Lenox is 10 o'clock, is what I'm seeing as far as local liquor times that they're starting on Sundays. So just food for thought there. I guess with Bradley, when I looked online, it said 10 o'clock. You're saying that they're serving at 8 o'clock? 9 o'clock? Okay. So I guess we could have more discussion when it comes time for votes, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Zimbelman?
I have nothing on the agenda for general government. The next general government committee meeting is Tuesday, the 26th at 7 a.m. in the village boardroom. I do have a few comments on the forensic audit. I don't feel that $168,000 for a forensic audit is being fiscally responsible and not in the taxpayers' best interest. During committee meetings, it has been stated that we need to curtail spending. The Village of Manteno has its own checks and balances in the form of yearly audit, which was just completed in July for $30,000. This yearly audit has uncovered nothing of concern that would warrant a forensic audit. The purpose of a forensic audit is if something were to come back in the audit that we already do annually every single year. The reasoning we are getting for requesting this audit is because there has been a change in administration. In my research, I know that Bourbonis is not requesting a forensic audit, and they just also had a change in their administration. Did Mayor Watson ask for a forensic audit when he took over as mayor for Mayor Adams, who was the mayor for 10 years and on the board as a trustee for 12? Most municipalities do not request forensic audits due to the expense to the taxpayers. This is a large expense to put into a budget at every changing of an administration. Why is the request for 6 years? What are you looking to find? Is the main reason for a forensic audit to gather evidence that can be used in court proceedings? This request to me is nothing more than a vendetta against the prior administration. Mayor Nugent left behind a legacy which has brought our village to the next level. It extends through his actions, creations, and values. He instilled in others while acting as mayor of Manteno. Instead of working so hard to ruin his legacy, why don't you use that energy and put your focus on the needs of the village and move on and create something you can be remembered by?
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. I'm going to move on, and then when we vote, if there's any discussion on this, people can ask questions. Motion to make a single roll call vote on the question of the consent agenda. The motion requires unanimous consent of the village board and the president. The chair will identify those items to be included on the consent agenda omnibus vote list. It is at this point that any trustee or the president may request that an item be deleted. So we don't have a lot on here tonight. Motion to approve by omnibus vote. Am I going too far?
Yeah, ask if anybody wants to remove anything.
I would like to remove the new business, number 1, the forensic audit, as a separate.
Okay. Do we have to have a motion on that?
No.
Okay,
I'd
that's
like
gonna
to
be
remove
removed.
the liquor number 2.
Okay,
So
you want
in
that
essence,
removed?
I guess we vote on everything separate since there's three items and if two of them are going to
Okay.
be off the...
So should we just go to number 1 then and ask for the motion? All right, number 1 is consideration regarding a motion to approve the forensic audit quote of $168,000 from Green Forensic Accounting Solutions LLP, the lowest qualified bidder. I need a motion to approve. Any questions before we ask for the vote?
Yeah, I mean, to get back to what Annette said, I mean, in the first meeting, we found $40,000 of extras on the job that we were just gonna pay the bill. $40,000. We spent more money on things that, do we truly need in this community? I don't know, I guess the last administration thought we did.
Well, I
Spent
guess,
$1 million for a pond, and we don't have any fish in it.
there's going to be fish in
It's
it.
not fishing, it's a fishing.
Well, as of right
I
now,
think we only spent $500,000, that's a partnership with the township, so
So,
it's a split.
my whole thing about it is that the forensic audit, in my mind, is to clean the slate for everyone else. Now, if we don't agree with that, SKDO audits, what we call them audit.
But Mike, the forensic audit is designed for improprieties, something that's done illegal. Now, as far as spending the money, and I'm going to use a fish pond, do we need it? Do we not need it? It's not a matter of need. The board gets to decide at the time whether we want to approve it or not approve it. Doing a forensic audit does not second-guess our opinion of whether we want a nice park or we want not so nice park. So I guess that argument,
I understand that. I just think that from the things that I've seen in my short time here, I hope that if this gets approved, what it sounds like it's not going to get approved, would come back clear for the residents. And we spent $168,000 on a lot of other things around the community. And I just feel that a clean slate, everybody's on the same page, everything's clean, we're ready to go, we can move on with it. I don't understand why all of a sudden, we're going to talk about, things that were done in the past administration, Mayor Nugent and everything else. Everybody could keep their own opinions on the past administration. I'll keep mine, you could keep yours. But I think that it's some of the things that have happened in the village, the transparency in the village for the last 20 years has never been there. So now, there's a new administration here. We all ran on transparency. Most of us got elected to run on transparency. I think that for $168,000 to clear the slate, to make sure that everything's up on the up and up, that's where I brought it to effect. And everything that I've been involved with, every other board I've been involved with, and everything else, when there's a change of the board, we have an audit done. So that they can't come back to the new people and say, well, this was done wrong, or this is done incorrectly.
And to me, me and Mike have had a lot of conversations about this, and honestly, very thorough. I think what he's thinking, and it could be wrong, is people think there's fraud. To me, what I think is people are just upset at decisions that were made. Not that there's fraud, but they're not happy with the choices that the board has made. That's not fraud, that's just you're angry at the board, and that's totally justified, but it's not going to change when we do an audit. That's not going to show anything. It's just going to, again, confirm that, oh, we have nothing. You're just still upset at the board. So that's my big reason against it. It's not, again, as we have had a township guy come in who's said he's been working with the board for 15 years, I've looked through all the audits. I don't see any obvious fraud or embezzlement. And again, in a town this small, that would be known. We would see it. Again, you might disagree with the decisions we've made, and that is totally justified, but the spending, that's just not what a forensic audit's going to tell you. So again, that's just how I feel about that.
No, I happen to be at that.
can we make a motion here?
CJ, I happen to be at that county board meeting.
Wait a minute.
Sitting there, and I remember Shapiro.
Galvin.
We are not going to fall.
We have to pause. Okay, is there any more discussion on this before we go to the vote?
No.
I just want to say again that when I met with Carmen Huizinga, she did not tell me she found anything wrong, but she questioned why money would be moved out of one account and then moved back into it at a later time, because that's not normally done. That's what she told me. She said, I want you to be aware of it.
Have you asked her to go through the last year's audit to kind of look?
She does not look for fraud.
I'm just saying, did you
She-
ask, like,
that's not her
have you
job.
went through our audit? I
She
mean, we
told
could-
me this.
You know what I mean?
CJ.
Look, but I'm just saying, we can go through an audit. That's what I
You
I
can
mean,
go through the
I'm not
audit,
a
the
genius
numbers-
either, but I go through it with the people.
Can I
that present
speak?
it. Yeah, go ahead.
The numbers balance, but she doesn't look for fraud. That's not her job. Her job is to just make sure the numbers balance, the money was handled correctly and accounted for correctly. And I jotted down a couple notes. She wanted to meet with me, and I came uptown to meet with her. So I'm just letting you know there is a difference between a regular audit and a forensic audit.
Absolutely. No one's denying that.
I have a question here. I'd like to ask Crystal LaRock, why would we transfer money from one account to another?
So what she's speaking about was brought up that we moved money into the MFT account, which is partially funded by the motor fuel tax. We took some money out of general fund and put it into that fund because we had some larger road projects that we wanted to do. Those projects ended up coming in under what we had anticipated that cost would be, and so therefore we took the money, not the tax dollars, the MFT funds. We cannot move those out of that fund. They're earmarked specifically for that use. But we did take the money that we moved from our general fund to fund those projects that came in under budget, and we moved that money back into general fund because the projects were completed. That was the move into and the move out of that fund.
Thank you.
So once again, just to look at checks and balances here, we're willing to spend $500,000 to have a fishing pond, but we're not willing to spend $168,000 for a forensic audit. And we spent $3 million for a pickleball park.
That is
We
being
won't
used
spend
every day.
Right, I mean, we have an awesome community. What do you want to live in?
I'm just comparing, I'm comparing the balance of money here and what's important.
I mean, if you're not happy.
And it's
with
like
how
Mike
you live and
said, we
move.
don't want to find anything wrong, but we want a clean slate. We hope there's nothing wrong. All right, any more discussion? If not, then that motion that was made and seconded, we need to vote.
Okay. Barry?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Wait a minute, stop. What's the motion again? To approve the forensic audit, correct? All right, go ahead.
Yes.
Vaughn? Yes. Boudreaux?
No.
Crockett?
No.
Getzky?
Yes.
Zimmelman?
No.
So there's a tie vote, and I get to vote, and I vote yes. So we will have a forensic audit. Thank you. All right. The second thing we're voting on tonight is an ordinance amending Title III Business Regulations, Chapter 9 Liquor, Section 3-9-13, the hours of the Village of Manteno Municipal Code. And we want to change the hours to sell liquor and serve liquor from 11 until 9.
And also the gaming would
And the
be
gaming.
included in that.
So I need a motion on the floor.
Hold on. I thought it was just alcohol.
It's automatic.
Yeah, it's
If you-
combined.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah, if you grant the earlier license, if they're open and they're selling for consumption on premises, the state opens the games.
Okay.
So what's quick question, the mobile mart, I'm sorry. The mobile mini mart on 45 there, are their hours the same?
No, they're considered a truck stop.
So they're different under different parameters?
Yeah, they have
Okay.
different rules and regulations
Okay.
for that.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So go there.
All right, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion to approve the ordinance, a second?
Second,
Okay. Barry?
Yes.
Vaughn?
yes.
Boudreaux?
Yes.
Crockett?
No.
Getzky?
No.
Zimmelman?
No.
So that's a tie.
So I get to vote again. I'm going to vote yes. Thank you. Consideration, motion to approve the payment of the bills in the amount of $75,396.43, including TIF number 3 at $0. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Boudreaux.
Boudreaux?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Getzky?
Yes.
Zimmelman?
Yes.
Okay, before I close this meeting, there's a couple of things we did not discuss. And one of them, Chris LaRock and I have talked about this, is an ordinance we have with basket raffles. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we have a raffle ordinance on the books that anyone who conducts a raffle in the Village of Manteno is supposed to get a permit. Not everyone will qualify, as it has specifics as to who would qualify to be able to hold a raffle in town. Anybody who's looking to do that needs to come to Village Hall and fill out the raffle license, and then it will be turned over to the clerk.
How
for
many
processing.
raffle permits have we given in the last year?
I couldn't tell you. Typically, the girls in the office handle that, so I'm not, once it comes in, it normally goes to the clerk, so she takes care of that.
The reason this discussion came up is that there was a letter sent to the CCOM because they had a basket raffle. And there's so many organizations in Manteno, I can't even name them all, there's so many. There's one that happens every week, and nobody has ever gotten a permit for those basket raffles. And almost every one's for a charitable cause, or for a cause to help somebody. So I don't understand why we would send that letter, or why we would fine people for having a basket raffle.
Because anytime I'm alerted to somebody violating the ordinance, it's my job to deal with that.
Well,
That's
you
why.
and I have talked about maybe bringing this to a committee meeting and having it discussed by the trustees and see what you want to do about this. Do you want to fine the library? Do you want to fine the Sportsman's Club? Do you want to fine all of the people who have fundraisers to fight cancer or child, illnesses? And do they have to get a permit and pay $25 to do that?
So we could just do it for non-for-profits.
Well, no, there is a state law on it, right?
Yeah,
The state
right.
law restricts it to not-for-profits, and if you don't allow it, then it's not allowed. So you want the ordinance, you need the ordinance to even allow it.
But we haven't been using that.
I can't tell you what people apply for and what they don't apply for, right? I'm just telling you the way it's supposed to be done.
So somebody from the library contacted me and said, Annette, we don't make a lot of money from our raffles, but we went and bought the permit, but that's going to cut into our profit. $25, we only make a couple $100 off our raffles. So they wanted to know if we could,
I mean, you
at
can certainly
least...
lower you can certainly lower
Or take away the fee.
Yeah, right, or that.
But to threaten people with a fine for not following that?
We do the exact same thing for grass violations, zoning ordinance violations. Violation's a violation. The ordinance says a fine can be issued between $50 and $750 per day the violation exists. It's my job to uphold the ordinances, and I take it seriously. When I'm made aware of an ordinance violation, I deal with it.
So are we going to send letters to everybody who's had raffles in the past 2 weeks or past month and fine them because they didn't get a permit?
If you're aware of people who had raffles, please let me know, and I will deal with it, yes. Absolutely.
I would like to bring this to a committee meeting and have more discussion on this, because I just feel like...
Put it on my Parks Committee meeting.
Put it on general government.
Yeah, let's do that. And also, there's an issue of something that happened recently, and Jim Hanley was taking care of it. Jim, do you want to talk about what happened out here with Mr. O'Connor?
Yeah, west of 45 on 9,000 County Highway 9. We had an overnight delivery of probably close to 500 semi-loads of grindings from 57 of asphalt. They proceeded to make a parking lot, and then they added milling equipment and end loaders and semis, and processing the asphalt into a finer grinding that they use for driveways and shoulders and everything else. It's a violation of multiple ordinances. That's zone commercial. That's considered asphalt processing, and a asphalt or a stone parking lot, which isn't allowed. So multiple issues. Dealing with Joe Kinkar there, and we have a court date on the 15th, I think, here. And
Yeah.
we're trying to get a...
I tried to get it in, I did file an emergency motion to try to get in within like 3 days, but the judge just pushed me off later than the 15th, but I, again, contacted the clerk again, and I said, we really need to get in, and so they moved it. Every day he violates, it's the fine counts, but the question is, is he making more money selling the asphalt than we can fine him, right? So that's why we're trying to stop it.
And this is asphalt that came off 57, because they're doing work on it 57. Somebody tipped off Joel. Joel called me. Some of us got together. We didn't call all the trustees to meet, because we didn't want to have an illegal meeting. But Joel and I met with 2 of the police officers and Jim Hanley to talk about how we were going to approach this and deal with it. And you did red tag.
Yeah, we've given notice of all the violations.
But he
Two
just
different
kept going.
lines.
He just kept working.
Still on it.
So that's what's going on. You're getting complete transparency here, folks. All right, I don't have anything else. Does anybody have a discussion or comments? Annette?
Nothing.
Just quick clarification, some people, I'm sure in the room, people watching, surprised by my vote for the forensic audit. I want to clarify and say that I don't believe anything was done wrong illegally. Doesn't mean that everyone's going to agree with decisions we made, but I did make the comment in our committee meetings before that if it came up for a forensic audit and it was a vote, I would vote in favor of it to allow the opportunity to clear the air, and that's exactly what I did today. So I'm anxiously awaiting to see the results of it. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Todd?
No comments.
Peggy? TJ?
Just two quick ones. One to add on to you. I went to the golf links a little bit later in the day. I just got back from vacation. Again, it's great to see these businesses. I think right next to it, that Unknown Strengths is a new gym that opened up about a month or two ago. Again, these are the things that we kind of want. I mean, we've been talking a bunch about it so that they turn into like the key parts of our town, like the Well and Mayberry and Yanni's. These are the things we want to kind of promote and push and push and push. So we will continue as a board to do as best as we can to get these businesses in, because not only do they benefit the residents by offering services, they can benefit us as a village, which then benefits the residents with stuff. So that'll be great. For the changing the alcohol hours, again, Trustee Vaughn kind of led the push. Hopefully, I know there's obviously disagreements here. I think it'll allow us to compete with businesses. We'll see if it's worth it. I'm hoping for the best. And then I believe cruise night's tomorrow. I don't know if it's the last one, but there's a cruise night tomorrow, so I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Mike?
No, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Joel. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on in town. And there's a lot of, I had friends coming from out of town and tell me how nice everything looked. And I just think we're moving along, and I think with the board, we're going to agree sometimes, disagree, but I think we are working together behind the scenes, and it's moving forward, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Chief, did you have anything else you wanted to say tonight? Any change on the scooters or what's going on in town?
No, we did finish up the traffic details. You know, we put a big push. It was Traffic Awareness Month. So we had 25 details where officers worked. We total 144 traffic stops, 4 arrests, and 155 citations. So we were out there very busy, and I think it made an impact. I think people noticed. We'll probably pick that up again. So.
Thank you. Chris, did you have anything else? Jake, did you have anything?
Yep, I can share some upcoming events. Like CJ said, tomorrow's our next Manteno Cruise Nights. I believe after this one we have about 2 left, so if you haven't gone out there, please make sure you do. Thursday night is Movies in the Park. Wednesday, August 13th, the Manteno Chamber will be hosting its Ladies' Night at Legacy at its new location, the Square on 2nd this year. We have over 40 different vendors, community resources that will be there to kind of support and celebrate the women in our community. So I encourage everyone to come out and check that event out. August 15th, the Chamber will also be hosting a back-to-school bash in partnership with a lot of our other Chamber members. You can bring your kids and grandkids to pick up some free school supplies. The village will be providing some free entertainment for the kids to enjoy, and that will all be before our last Rockin' on the Square, which will start at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jim, do you have anything else?
No, Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor?
I have nothing else tonight. Oh, yes?
Real quick, I just like to comment. I know I gave up my time, but tonight's a prime example of disagreement doesn't have to be division. And hopefully tonight we've overcome that. So we didn't agree on anything except for payment of the bills, but we're moving forward, so.
If we all agreed on everything, that would be a bad thing, right?
Could be.
That's why we're here. All right. A motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.